Ladies and gentlemen, every day life presents us with situations that challenge our perceptions and test our resolve. Imagine this scenario: a married man does something, a gesture, a comment, an action that you interpret as interest. It stirs something within you, maybe confusion, intrigue, or even resentment. But I'm here to tell you, whatever the circumstance, how you interpret and respond to these moments defines your growth. Not the moments themselves. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define where we end and others begin. They are not just abstract concepts, they are tangible expressions of self respect, self awareness, and self care. When we think about boundaries, we often imagine physical ones: a locked door, a fence, a do not disturb sign. But emotional and mental boundaries are just as critical, if not more so. They dictate how others treat us, how we allow ourselves to be influenced, and most importantly, how we protect the essence of who we are. Imagine your personal boundaries as the walls of a castle. This castle is your safe space, your sanctuary where your values, beliefs, and emotions reside. These walls aren't there to isolate you from the world or to keep others permanently out. Instead, they're there to control access, to ensure that only what is beneficial and nurturing to you comes in and what threatens your peace and integrity stays out. A castle without walls is vulnerable to any force that wishes to invade, and in the same way, a life without boundaries is open to manipulation, disrespect, and emotional harm. In relationships, particularly in complex situations where dynamics may blur, such as interactions with a married man, boundaries play an even more vital role. When someone crosses into your personal space, be it emotionally, mentally, or physically, it's not just an act that affects the moment, it sends ripples through your sense of self worth and security. If left unchecked, these ripples can grow into waves, shaking the foundation of your confidence and clarity. That's why being clear about your boundaries isn't just a one-time declaration, it's a continual act of self-respect. However, setting boundaries isn't always easy, especially when subtle actions or ambiguous intentions are involved. For example, a married man might offer compliments that seem innocent at first but grow increasingly personal. He might seek your attention in ways that feel inappropriate or overly familiar. In these moments, it's essential to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, does this align with my values? Does this make me feel respected? Am I comfortable with this interaction? These questions are your internal compass, guiding you toward decisions that honor your boundaries. When you recognize that someone's behavior is crossing into territory that feels uncomfortable or disrespectful, it's an opportunity to assert yourself. This doesn't mean reacting with anger or defensiveness. Instead, it's about communicating your boundaries with clarity and confidence. For instance, you can say, I appreciate your kind words, but I'd prefer to keep our conversation professional. Or, I value our interaction, but I feel it's important to maintain a certain level of respect for all parties involved. These statements aren't confrontational, they're affirmations of your standards and self respect. But let's go deeper. Boundaries are not just about what you communicate to others, they're about what you enforce within yourself. Often, the greatest challenge is not in telling someone else where the line is, but in holding yourself accountable to that line. It's easy to second guess your boundaries, to question whether you're being too rigid or overreacting. This is where self trust comes in. Trust that your instincts are valid, that your feelings matter, and that your boundaries are worthy of being upheld. Moreover, boundaries are not static, they are dynamic and adapt as you grow. What felt acceptable a year ago might not feel right today. And that's okay. Growth often brings a deeper understanding of what we need to thrive. When you reflect on your experiences and adjust your boundaries accordingly, you're not being inconsistent, you're evolving, and evolution is a sign of strength, not weakness. Now, let's address the common fear, the fear of offending or alienating others by setting boundaries. It's natural to worry about how someone might react when you establish limits, but remember, boundaries are not about pleasing others, they are about protecting your well being. If someone respects you, they will understand and honor your boundaries. If they don't, that's a reflection of their limitations, not yours. People who truly value you will never demand that you compromise your integrity for their comfort. Boundaries are also a form of education. By setting and enforcing them, you teach others how to treat you. You demonstrate that your time, energy, and emotions are precious and deserve to be handled with care. This doesn't just apply to personal relationships, it extends to all areas of life, work, friendships, and even family. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to affirm your worth and cultivate mutual respect. Ultimately, boundaries empower you to live authentically. They create a space where you can be yourself, free from the pressure to conform to others' expectations or demands. They give you the freedom to choose who and what you allow into your life based on what aligns with your values and goals. This empowerment doesn't just shield you from negativity, it attracts positivity. When you honor your boundaries, you send a clear message to the world: you are worthy of respect, kindness, and love. And that in itself is a powerful declaration. Decoding actions rather than jumping to assumptions is an essential skill in navigating relationships and understanding human behavior. At any given moment, people act based on their internal thoughts, emotions, and motivations, many of which we cannot see or fully comprehend. When we encounter actions that seem ambiguous or provoke certain feelings, it's easy to interpret them through the lens of our own experiences and assumptions. But doing so without critical reflection can lead to misunderstandings, unnecessary conflict, and even self-doubt. To truly decode actions, the first step is to approach them with curiosity rather than judgment. Imagine someone offering you an unexpected compliment or going out of their way to help you. It's natural to start questioning, why are they doing this? What does it mean? However, the meaning you assign to their actions might be more a reflection of your perspective than their intent. For example, if you've experienced manipulation or ulterior motives in the past, you might instinctively assume that this person has similar intentions. On the other hand, if you're feeling vulnerable or insecure, you might misinterpret their behavior as something more significant than it really is. This is where self-awareness becomes crucial. Before attempting to interpret another person's actions, take a moment to examine your own emotional state. Are you feeling anxious, lonely, or defensive? These feelings can act as filters, distorting your perception of the situation. By acknowledging your emotions, you can separate them from the behavior you're observing, allowing you to see things more objectively. This clarity is essential in understanding what is truly happening rather than projecting your fears or hopes onto the situation. It's also important to consider context. No action exists in isolation. It is always influenced by the environment, the relationship dynamic, and the individual's personal circumstances. For instance, if a married man offers you consistent attention, it might not automatically mean he has romantic intentions. He could be seeking validation, distraction from his own struggles, or simply expressing genuine kindness. Without understanding the broader context, it's easy to misinterpret such actions as being about you when they might actually be about him. One way to decode actions effectively is by observing patterns over time. A single gesture or comment might be open to multiple interpretations, but repeated behaviors often reveal a clearer picture. Does this person's behavior align with their usual demeanor, or does it stand out as unusual? Are their actions consistent across different situations, or do they vary based on the audience? Patterns can provide valuable insight into someone's motivations and help you distinguish between genuine intention and momentary impulse. However, while it's useful to analyze patterns and context, it's equally important not to overanalyze. There's a fine line between thoughtful observation and overthinking, and crossing it can lead to unnecessary stress. Not every action carries a deep or hidden meaning. Sometimes people do things simply because they feel like it in the moment without much thought or intent. Recognizing this can free you from the burden of trying to decode every interaction. Another key element in decoding actions is communication. When in doubt, don't be afraid to ask for clarity. Many misunderstandings arise because people assume they already know what the other person is thinking or feeling. A simple question like, "What did you mean by that?" or "Can you help me understand why you did this?" can provide direct insight into their intentions. While it might feel uncomfortable at first, open communication often leads to greater understanding and strengthens the foundation of mutual respect. It's also essential to remind yourself that actions are often a reflection of the other person's inner world, not yours. People act based on their own needs, desires, and fears, which may have nothing to do with you. For example, someone seeking validation might behave in ways that seem overly attentive or flattering. Someone grappling with insecurity might project their feelings onto others, creating confusion or tension. By recognizing that their actions stem from their own internal struggles, you can avoid taking things personally. Decoding actions requires patience and emotional resilience. It's tempting to jump to conclusions, especially when emotions are involved. But rushing to interpret someone's behavior can lead to assumptions that are hard to unlearn. Instead, take the time to observe, reflect, and seek understanding. This approach not only helps you navigate specific situations, but also fosters greater empathy and insight into human behavior as a whole. While decoding someone else's actions, remember that it's equally important to examine your own reactions. How do their actions make you feel? What thoughts arise in response? These insights can reveal as much about you as they do about the other person. By combining self reflection with thoughtful observation, you can approach interactions with a balanced perspective, reducing the risk of misinterpretation and enhancing your ability to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Guarding your energy is one of the most powerful acts of self preservation and empowerment. In a world filled with distractions, expectations, and demands, our energy is our most precious resource. It fuels our thoughts, emotions, and actions, shaping how we experience life and how we interact with others. Yet, many of us are unaware of just how often we allow external forces to drain this vital resource. Learning to protect and manage your energy is not only essential for your well being, but also for maintaining clarity, balance, and focus. Energy in this context is more than just physical stamina, it includes your emotional energy, mental focus, and even your spiritual vitality. Every interaction you have, every thought you entertain, and every emotion you feel contributes to your overall energy state. Positive interactions and experiences tend to replenish your energy, while negative or draining ones can deplete it. Understanding this dynamic is the first step in learning how to guard your energy effectively. One of the biggest culprits of energy loss is engaging with negativity, whether it comes from other people, challenging circumstances, or your own inner dialogue. Negativity can act like a vacuum, pulling your focus and emotional strength away from what truly matters. For instance, when someone directs critical or unwarranted comments at you, it's easy to get caught up in defending yourself or proving them wrong. But in doing so, you're essentially handing over your energy to the situation. You're allowing external negativity to dictate your internal state. To guard against this, it's important to practice detachment. Detachment doesn't mean indifference or apathy. It means creating enough emotional space to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. When faced with negativity, pause and ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Does this align with my priorities? Often you'll find that the answer is no. By choosing not to engage, you reclaim your power and conserve your energy for what truly matters. Another way to protect your energy is by setting clear boundaries. Boundaries are not just about saying no to others, they're about saying yes to yourself. They allow you to define what is acceptable and what isn't, creating a framework that supports your well being. For example, if someone constantly brings drama or negativity into your life, it's okay to limit your interaction with them. You're not being selfish or unkind, you're honoring your need for peace and positivity. It's also important to be mindful of your environment. The spaces you inhabit, the people you surround yourself with, and even the media you consume all have an impact on your energy. Cluttered, chaotic environments can make you feel overwhelmed and drained, while calm and organized spaces can help you feel grounded and refreshed. Similarly, spending time with uplifting, supportive individuals can recharge your energy, while being around toxic or draining people can have the opposite effect. Take stock of your surroundings and make adjustments as needed to create an environment that nourishes your energy. Another significant factor in guarding your energy is managing your thoughts. Your mind is a powerful tool, but it can also be a source of energy leakage if left unchecked. Negative self-talk, overthinking, and dwelling on past mistakes can sap your mental and emotional energy, leaving you feeling exhausted and stuck. To counter this, practice mindfulness and focus on the present moment. When negative thoughts arise, acknowledge them without judgment and gently redirect your attention to something more constructive or uplifting. Over time, this practice can help you develop a more positive and resilient mindset. Physical self-care is another essential aspect of protecting your energy. Your body and mind are deeply interconnected, and neglecting one inevitably affects the other. Prioritize sleep, nutrition, exercise, and relaxation to keep your physical energy levels high. When your body feels strong and well rested, it's easier to handle emotional and mental challenges without becoming drained. Another powerful strategy is to cultivate energy-enhancing habits. This could include practices like meditation, journaling, or spending time in nature, all of which help you reconnect with yourself and recharge your energy. Similarly, engaging in activities that bring you joy, whether it's pursuing a hobby, connecting with loved ones, or simply taking a moment to appreciate life's beauty, can help restore your energy and uplift your spirit. Lastly, learn to listen to your intuition. Your intuition is like an internal energy barometer guiding you toward what feels right and away from what feels wrong. If a situation or relationship consistently leaves you feeling drained or uneasy, it's a sign that it's not serving your highest good. Trust yourself enough to make changes, even if they feel uncomfortable at first. Your energy is too valuable to waste on anything that doesn't contribute to your growth and happiness. Self awareness is the cornerstone of emotional intelligence and the key to navigating relationships, interactions, and life with clarity and confidence. It is the ability to understand your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors and how they influence your experiences and decisions. When it comes to discerning intentions, be it in professional settings, friendships, or complex dynamics like those involving personal relationships, self awareness acts as your internal compass, guiding you to differentiate between what aligns with your values and what might be a potential deviation. Being self aware means tuning into your internal world and recognizing your triggers, desires, and vulnerabilities. Often we misinterpret others' actions because we are unaware of how much our past experiences or emotional states are influencing our perception. For example, if you've previously dealt with betrayal or deception, you may be more inclined to view others' behavior through a lens of mistrust, even when it's unwarranted. Similarly, if you are yearning for validation or connection, you might interpret an innocent gesture as something more significant. Understanding this connection between your inner state and how you interpret external actions is critical for maintaining perspective. Self awareness also involves recognizing the stories you tell yourself about others' actions. These stories often arise unconsciously and are shaped by your beliefs, fears, and expectations. Suppose someone you admire offers a compliment or seeks your attention. Without self awareness, you might jump to conclusions thinking they must be interested in me or they're trying to manipulate me. These narratives may have little to do with the other person's true intentions and more to do with your internal dialogue. By becoming aware of these automatic thoughts, you gain the power to question them rather than accept them as facts. Another vital aspect of self awareness is understanding your boundaries and values. When you know what you stand for and what you're willing to accept in your relationships, it becomes easier to interpret others' actions without confusion or compromise. For instance, if a married man engages with you in a way that feels overly personal or inappropriate, your self awareness helps you identify whether his behavior aligns with your values and boundaries. It allows you to assess the situation objectively rather than getting caught up in emotions or ambiguity. Self awareness also empowers you to step back and analyze the context of any interaction. People's actions are rarely isolated, they are influenced by their circumstances, emotions, and personal struggles. A married man's attention, for instance, might not reflect a desire for connection with you, but rather an attempt to escape his own challenges or insecurities. Without self awareness, it's easy to misinterpret such behavior as being about you when it may be entirely about him. By staying grounded in your awareness, you can separate what is yours to own from what belongs to others. Moreover, self awareness enables you to observe patterns in your relationships and interactions. If certain behaviors or dynamics consistently evoke strong emotions in you, it's worth exploring why. Do these situations trigger unresolved wounds or unmet needs? Are they highlighting areas where you need to grow or set stronger boundaries? By reflecting on these patterns, you gain deeper insights into yourself and your relationships, allowing you to make more intentional choices about how you engage with others. Self awareness also plays a crucial role in managing your energy and emotions. When you're attuned to your feelings, you can recognize when someone's actions are affecting you negatively and take steps to protect your well being. For example, if you notice that certain interactions leave you feeling drained, anxious, or unsettled, your self awareness helps you identify the cause and address it proactively. This might involve limiting your exposure to the person, setting clearer boundaries, or seeking support to process your emotions. Additionally, self awareness fosters a sense of inner peace and resilience. When you understand yourself deeply, you become less reactive to external events and more anchored in your own truth. This doesn't mean you ignore or dismiss others' actions, rather, you approach them with curiosity and detachment, seeking to understand without letting them define your worth or happiness. For example, if someone's behavior seems inconsistent or confusing, your self awareness allows you to ask questions like, what might be influencing their actions, or how do I want to respond in a way that aligns with my values? Finally, self awareness encourages you to take responsibility for your reactions. It's easy to blame others for how they make us feel, but the truth is that our emotions are ultimately our own. By owning your feelings and examining their origins, you gain the power to choose how you respond to others' actions rather than being controlled by them. This not only enhances your emotional well being, but also strengthens your ability to build healthy, authentic relationships. Trusting your instincts is an innate ability that often gets overshadowed by the noise of external opinions, societal expectations, and self doubt. At its core, your intuition is your subconscious mind processing information at a speed and depth that your conscious mind cannot fully grasp. It is the subtle voice within you, the nudge or gut feeling that signals whether something feels right or wrong. Learning to trust this inner guide is one of the most empowering steps you can take in navigating relationships, decisions, and life as a whole. Instincts are not arbitrary, they are the result of your brain collecting and synthesizing countless data points from your past experiences, observations, and emotional responses. Even when you're not actively aware of it, your mind is constantly absorbing and processing information, creating a reservoir of knowledge that your instincts draw from. For example, when someone's behavior feels off, it's often because your subconscious has picked up on subtle cues like changes in tone, body language, or inconsistencies in their words that your conscious mind might not immediately register. This is why instincts often feel like a sudden flash of clarity or a deep-seated sense of knowing without a clear explanation. However, in a world that places so much emphasis on logic and external validation, trusting your instincts can feel risky or even irrational. We're taught to seek evidence, rely on reason, and prioritize others' opinions over our own inner voice. This conditioning can make us second guess ourselves, ignoring the very instincts that are trying to protect and guide us. But the truth is, your instincts are an invaluable tool, particularly in situations where facts are incomplete, emotions are involved, or the stakes are high. They are not meant to replace logic, but to complement it, offering insights that your rational mind might overlook. In relationships, trusting your instincts is especially important because human interactions are complex and often layered with subtle dynamics. For instance, if a married man's actions make you feel uneasy or conflicted, your instincts might be picking up on unspoken intentions, boundaries being crossed, or emotional undercurrents that are hard to articulate. Ignoring these feelings can lead to confusion, discomfort, or even harm, while honoring them can help you navigate the situation with clarity and integrity. The first step to trusting your instincts is learning to recognize them. Instincts often manifest as physical sensations of flutter in your stomach, a tightening in your chest, or sudden sense of calm. They can also appear as fleeting thoughts or an inner voice that whispers rather than shouts. Pay attention to these subtle signals, even if they don't make immediate sense. The more you tune into them, the stronger and clearer they become. It's also important to distinguish between instincts and fear. Fear is often loud, reactionary, and based on past traumas or imagined scenarios, while instincts are quiet, grounded, and rooted in the present moment. For example, if you feel nervous about a situation, ask yourself whether the feeling is based on a genuine red flag or an unfounded worry. This distinction becomes clearer with practice and self-awareness, allowing you to trust your instincts without being ruled by fear. Another key aspect of trusting your instincts is letting go of the need for external validation. When faced with uncertainty, it's natural to seek advice or reassurance from others. While feedback can be valuable, relying too heavily on it can drown out your own inner voice. Remember, no one else has the same perspective, experiences, or emotional investment as you do. What feels right to someone else might not align with your values or circumstances. By prioritizing your instincts, you reclaim your autonomy and confidence in your ability to make decisions. Learning to trust your instincts also involves accepting that they won't always lead to perfect outcomes. There may be times when following your gut doesn't go as planned or when hindsight reveals a better choice. But this doesn't mean your instincts were wrong. It simply means that they guided you based on the information available at the time. Trusting your instincts is not about being infallible. It's about honoring your inner wisdom and using it as a compass to navigate life's uncertainties. It's also worth noting that instincts are like muscles. They grow stronger with use and attention. The more you practice listening to and acting on your instincts, the more confident and attuned you become. Start with small decisions, like choosing what feels right in a conversation or how to spend your time. As you build trust in your instincts, you'll find it easier to rely on them in more significant situations. In relationships, trusting your instincts helps you set boundaries Recognize red flags and discern genuine connections. For example, if someone's words and actions don't align, your instincts might alert you to the discrepancy before your rational mind can fully process it. Similarly, if a situation feels emotionally unsafe or draining, your instincts can guide you to take steps to protect your well being, even if the reasons aren't immediately clear. This self trust not only safeguards you, but also deepens your ability to navigate relationships authentically and effectively. Ultimately, trusting your instincts is about honoring yourself, your experiences, your insights, and your worth. It's about acknowledging that you are equipped with an inner guide that is uniquely attuned to your needs and truths. By tuning into and trusting this guide, you empower yourself to make choices that align with your values and lead to greater fulfillment and peace. Establishing and respecting boundaries is a fundamental aspect of personal growth, emotional health, and harmonious relationships. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define what is acceptable and unacceptable in interactions, protecting your time, energy, and emotional well being. They communicate your needs and values, ensuring that you maintain a sense of control and respect in your connections with others. Without boundaries, you risk overextending yourself, allowing others to dictate your actions, or feeling resentment in situations where your needs are overlooked or disregarded. The essence of boundaries lies in self respect. When you set a boundary, you're not being selfish or unkind, you're acknowledging your worth and prioritizing your well being. Boundaries are not about controlling others or creating barriers, they're about creating a healthy framework for mutual respect and understanding. For instance, in a situation where a married man is giving you unwarranted attention, establishing clear boundaries helps to communicate your expectations and maintain integrity in the relationship. This might involve expressing discomfort, redirecting the conversation, or limiting interactions. By doing so, you protect yourself from emotional complications and set a standard for how you wish to be treated. Establishing boundaries begins with self-awareness. To set effective boundaries, you need to understand your own limits, what feels comfortable, what doesn't, and why. This requires introspection and honesty with yourself. Reflect on situations where you felt drained, uncomfortable, or taken advantage of. What patterns emerge, what actions or behaviors from others trigger these feelings. By identifying these triggers, you can begin to articulate the boundaries that will protect your emotional and mental health. Once you've identified your boundaries, the next step is to communicate them clearly and assertively. Many people struggle with this because they fear confrontation, rejection, or being perceived as difficult. However, setting boundaries is not about pleasing others, it's about respecting yourself. When communicating a boundary, focus on being direct, specific, and respectful. For example, if someone's behavior is crossing a line, you might say, I appreciate your interest, but I'm not comfortable with this kind of attention, or I value our interaction, but I need to maintain professional boundaries. These statements are clear yet considerate, leaving little room for misunderstanding. It's also important to enforce your boundaries consistently. Setting a boundary is only the first step. Ensuring that it's respected requires follow through. This might mean repeating your boundary when it's challenged, taking action if it's disregarded, or even distancing yourself from situations or relationships that repeatedly violate your limits. While this can be difficult, especially with people you care about, it's essential for maintaining your emotional safety and self-respect. Respecting boundaries is a two-way street. Just as you have the right to set boundaries, others have the right to set their own. Learning to recognize and honor others' boundaries is a sign of emotional maturity and respect. For example, if someone communicates that they need space or time, respecting their request strengthens the relationship by showing that you value their needs. Similarly, understanding that boundaries are not personal rejections but expressions of individual needs helps you navigate relationships with empathy and understanding. Boundaries are also crucial for managing your energy and avoiding burnout. Without them, it's easy to overcommit, take on others' responsibilities, or become overly involved in situations that don't serve your best interests. For instance, if someone regularly seeks your time and attention in ways that feel excessive or draining, setting a boundary can help you reclaim your energy and focus on your priorities. This might involve saying no to certain requests, delegating tasks, or limiting the time you spend on certain activities or interactions. Fear of judgment or rejection often prevents people from setting boundaries. However, it's important to recognize that those who respect and value you will understand and appreciate your need for boundaries. If someone reacts negatively to your boundary, it's more likely a reflection of their own insecurities or inability to respect your needs than a flaw in your approach. Standing firm in your boundaries, even in the face of resistance, reinforces your commitment to self respect and personal well being. Boundaries also play a vital role in building healthy relationships. When both parties understand and respect each other's limits, it creates a foundation of trust, mutual respect, and clear communication. This is particularly important in situations involving power dynamics or emotional complexity, such as interactions with someone who may have intentions that conflict with your values. Clear boundaries help to prevent misunderstandings, protect both parties' integrity, and maintain a sense of balance and fairness in the relationship. Another important aspect of boundaries is flexibility. While it's essential to stand firm in your core boundaries, it's also important to recognize that not all situations are black and white. Life is dynamic and circumstances change, requiring you to adapt your boundaries accordingly. For instance, a boundary that felt necessary in the early stages of a relationship might become less relevant as trust and understanding grow. Conversely, a situation that evolves in an unexpected way might require you to establish new boundaries to protect yourself. Flexibility doesn't mean compromising your values, it means being open to growth and change while remaining true to yourself. Lastly, boundaries are not just about external interactions, they also apply to your relationship with yourself. Self imposed boundaries help you stay disciplined, focused, and aligned with your goals. For example, setting limits on how much time you spend on social media, committing to regular self care, or establishing a routine that prioritizes your well being are all forms of personal boundaries. These practices reinforce your sense of self worth and ensure that you're nurturing your own needs alongside your responsibilities to others. Understanding intentions is a skill that goes beyond surface level observation. It requires emotional intelligence, discernment, and the ability to read between the lines. In relationships, whether personal or professional, the ability to recognize someone's true intentions is critical for building trust, maintaining boundaries, and protecting your well being. People's words, actions, and behavior often reveal their motives, but these signals can be subtle, layered, or even contradictory. Developing the ability to understand intentions helps you navigate complex dynamics with clarity and confidence. At the core of understanding intentions is active observation. People communicate through more than just words. Their body language, tone of voice, and actions provide valuable clues about their feelings and motives. For example, if someone consistently makes an effort to engage with you, goes out of their way to be helpful, or prioritizes spending time with you, it's natural to wonder what their intentions might be. However, actions can have multiple interpretations, and it's important to consider the broader context. Are their actions consistent with their words? Do they treat others in a similar way, or is their behavior uniquely directed toward you? These questions help you gather a more complete picture of their intentions. Another aspect of understanding intentions is recognizing patterns over time. While anyone can act in a certain way momentarily, true intentions are often revealed through repeated behavior. For instance, a married man who occasionally compliments you might simply be polite, but if his compliments are frequent, personal, or accompanied by other behaviors like seeking private conversations or lingering attention, it may indicate a deeper motive. Observing patterns allows you to distinguish between isolated incidents and consistent signals, helping you assess the sincerity and nature of someone's actions. Context is also crucial when interpreting intentions. People's actions are influenced by their circumstances, relationships, and emotional state. For example, a person going through a difficult time might seek connection or validation in ways that could be misconstrued as interest. Similarly, someone in a strained relationship may behave differently than they would in a stable one. Understanding the context behind someone's actions can provide important insights into their intentions, helping you avoid jumping to conclusions or misinterpreting their motives. Self-awareness plays a significant role in this process as well. Your own thoughts, emotions, and experiences can color your perception of others' intentions. For example, if you're feeling particularly lonely or vulnerable, you might interpret someone's friendly behavior as romantic interest, even if that's not their intention. Conversely, if you're guarded or skeptical, you might dismiss genuine kindness as insincere. Being aware of your own biases and emotional state helps you approach interactions with greater objectivity, ensuring that your interpretations are grounded in reality rather than projection. Communication is another key tool for understanding intentions. Rather than making assumptions, ask questions or seek clarification when something feels unclear. For example, if someone's behavior seems ambiguous, You might say, I notice you've been reaching out to me more often. What's been on your mind? Or I appreciate your kindness. What prompted it? These conversations can provide direct insights into their motives while also setting the tone for open and honest communication. It's important to approach these discussions with curiosity rather than judgment, creating a space where both parties feel comfortable sharing their perspectives. Intuition is a valuable ally in understanding intentions. Often your gut feeling can sense when something feels genuine or off, even if you can't immediately articulate why. Intuition is your subconscious mind processing subtle cues and patterns that your conscious mind might overlook. If you feel uneasy or uncertain about someone's actions, trust that instinct and take the time to observe and reflect. Similarly, if you feel a deep sense of trust or comfort in someone's presence, it's worth exploring why that is and how their behavior aligns with their intentions. Empathy is another powerful tool for discerning intentions. By putting yourself in someone else's shoes, you can gain a better understanding of their perspective, needs, and motives. For example, a person seeking your attention might be looking for validation, support, or connection rather than anything more significant. Recognizing their underlying needs allows you to respond with compassion and clarity, setting boundaries or offering support as appropriate. Empathy helps you interpret intentions with nuance and understanding, fostering healthier and more authentic relationships. While understanding intentions is about analyzing others' actions, it's also about recognizing the limits of what you can control. People's intentions are influenced by factors that may be beyond your knowledge or understanding, and not all motives will be fully transparent. Rather than fixating on deciphering every action, focus on how their behavior aligns with your values, boundaries, and well-being. If someone's actions consistently make you feel uncomfortable or conflicted, that alone is reason enough to reevaluate the relationship, regardless of their intentions. Finally, understanding intentions is not about cynicism or mistrust, it's about clarity and discernment. It's easy to become overly focused on deciphering others' motives, but this can lead to overthinking or suspicion. Instead, approach interactions with an open mind and a balanced perspective. Trust but verify, giving others the benefit of the doubt while remaining attentive to patterns and signals that might indicate a deeper motive. This balanced approach allows you to navigate relationships with confidence and integrity, ensuring that your interactions are rooted in respect, honesty, and mutual understanding. Maintaining integrity in all situations is a cornerstone of personal character and an essential quality for building trust, respect, and meaningful relationships. Integrity is the alignment of your values, words, and actions. It's the steadfast commitment to doing what is right, even when faced with temptation, pressure, or ambiguity. While it can be challenging to uphold integrity in complex or emotionally charged situations, it is precisely during such moments that your character is tested and shaped. Living with integrity not only defines who you are to others, but also reinforces your self-respect and confidence. Integrity begins with clarity about your values and principles. To act with integrity, you must first understand what you stand for and what you will or won't accept in your life. This clarity serves as a moral compass guiding your decisions and behavior regardless of external circumstances. For example, if one of your core values is loyalty, you are more likely to honor commitments and avoid situations that could compromise someone else's trust. Similarly, if honesty is a guiding principle, you will strive to communicate openly and truthfully, even when it's uncomfortable. When you are clear about your values, you create a solid foundation for navigating the complexities of life with confidence and consistency. One of the most challenging aspects of maintaining integrity is resisting external pressures or influences. Society, relationships, and circumstances often present situations that test your commitment to your principles. For instance, in interactions with someone whose actions might blur the boundaries of respect or propriety, such as a married man behaving inappropriately, integrity demands that you stand firm in your values. It requires the courage to assert boundaries, even if doing so might risk misunderstanding or conflict. Acting with integrity in such situations sends a clear message about your character and self-respect while also protecting your emotional well-being. Integrity also involves accountability. This means taking responsibility for your actions, choices, and their consequences, even when mistakes are made. No one is perfect, and there will be times when you fall short of your own standards. However, what defines your integrity is how you respond in those moments. Do you acknowledge your missteps, seek to make amends, and commit to doing better? Or do you deflect blame, make excuses, or compromise your values further? Choosing accountability not only strengthens your integrity, but also fosters trust and respect in your relationships. Another important aspect of integrity is consistency. It's not enough to act with integrity in some situations, but abandon it in others. True integrity requires consistency across all areas of your life, whether you're dealing with friends, colleagues, strangers, or yourself. This consistency builds trust because people know they can rely on you to act in alignment with your principles. For example, if you consistently demonstrate respect for others' boundaries, honesty in your communication, and fairness in your decisions, you establish a reputation for integrity that others will value and respect. Integrity is also about resisting short term gratification in favor of long term alignment with your values. In moments of temptation or desire, it can be easy to rationalize actions that go against your principles. For instance, attention or affection from someone who is unavailable might feel flattering in the moment, but pursuing or entertaining it would likely conflict with your values and create long term consequences that undermine your integrity. By prioritizing your principles over fleeting emotions or desires, you reinforce your self respect and ensure that your actions are in harmony with your deeper values. One of the benefits of living with integrity is the sense of peace and self assurance it brings. When your actions align with your values, you avoid the inner conflict and regret that come from compromising your principles. This inner peace allows you to approach life with confidence and clarity, knowing that you are staying true to yourself. Even in challenging situations, the knowledge that you acted with integrity provides a sense of pride and fulfillment that external validation cannot match. Integrity also has a ripple effect on those around you. When you act with integrity, you inspire others to do the same. Your commitment to honesty, fairness, and respect sets a standard that encourages others to uphold similar values in their interactions with you and others. For example, if you consistently assert your boundaries in a respectful yet firm manner, you model the importance of self respect and mutual respect for those around you. Similarly, if you handle conflicts or misunderstandings with honesty and accountability, you demonstrate the value of open and authentic communication. Another essential component of integrity is resisting the temptation to rationalize behavior that goes against your principles. It's easy to justify actions by pointing to external factors such as the behavior of others, the difficulty of the situation, or the perceived lack of harm. However, integrity requires that you hold yourself accountable to your own standards, regardless of external circumstances. This might mean walking away from situations or relationships that conflict with your values, even when doing so is difficult or inconvenient. By refusing to compromise your principles, you strengthen your character and reinforce your commitment to living authentically. Finally, integrity requires a commitment to continuous growth and self reflection. Upholding integrity is not a one time decision, but an ongoing process that requires awareness, effort, and adjustment. Regularly reflecting on your actions, decisions, and their alignment with your values helps you stay true to your principles and identify areas where you can grow. For instance, if you notice that you've been tolerating behavior that conflicts with your boundaries or values, self reflection can help you course correct and reaffirm your commitment to integrity. This process of growth ensures that your integrity remains strong and adaptable, even as life presents new challenges and opportunities. Remember, life isn't about what happens to you, it's about how you respond. Guard your energy, embrace positivity, and always choose to rise. Thank you.